Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gear Freak. Charlie Bravo here. So today we're going to take a look at the extended bolt release version 2 from Phase 5. So, an extended bolt release definitely makes sense to me. If you've ever used an AR type platform, especially if you're right-handed, you know that that bolt release and bolt catch, it's not the most ergonomic, it's not the most intuitive. A lot of times, especially if you're not familiar with it, you don't practice a lot, you'll fumble around. You'll fumble around trying to lock the bolt to the rear, trying to fumble around, trying to release that bolt if you are doing a magazine change, something like that. You got to practice it, obviously. The extended bolt release, even if you practice it a lot, is still going to make it faster because it's a lot more intuitive. Instead of doing everything with one hand, you're actually going to be reloading magazine with one hand, releasing that bolt with your firing hand if you're right-handed. Definitely makes sense. It is something that I wish that the military would look into for their firearms, for the M4. Definitely make those magazine changes faster. It'd make clearing jams and malfunctions and stuff like that, make it faster. You can, instead of pulling down on that to release the bolt, you can lift up on it when you're pulling the charging handle to the rear and lock it open. So your two-handed operation, it's a little bit easier instead of fumbling around trying to figure out how you're going to do it. So I like it. I like the idea of an extended bolt release. I've owned one of the clamp-on type, clamps onto the stock bolt release. When I was installing that, I actually went a little bit too far. I stripped out one of the threads, for the screw on there, and thankfully I was able to get that fixed. I was able to retap it with a little bit larger and get a new screw in there, and it's not an issue. But it definitely could be. This is a dedicated piece. You're not going to have to worry about those screws stripping out or any of that kind of stuff. But that means it's going to be a little bit extra work because you have to actually replace your bolt release. Okay, so I was lucky. I worked with a half a dozen armorers that are very familiar with this platform. It took about 5 minutes, of which 3 was looking for the right tool. So, but that being said, the person who I had help me with this, that was their advice. Make sure you use the right tool. Yes, you can use a regular punch to knock that roll pin out of there and to put a new one in, but if you use a roll pin punch, it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot less chance of slipping off of there and scratching up, the finish on your firearm. So definitely look into it. If you're going to use a regular punch, definitely be very careful. Go very slow if you can. And a roll pin punch is something to consider. You should be able to find one on like Harbor Freight fairly cheap, Amazon, something like that. I know you're probably only going to use it once or twice in your entire life, but you know what? Definitely still probably worth the price, just so you don't have to worry about a big old scuff mark or a scratch across the finish of your firearm. So definitely look into that. So as far as things that I would improve on it, when I had this off, before I installed it, on the back side there is it looks like a weld seam or maybe a machine markings and stuff like that. Not that changes the effectiveness of it at all. It doesn't change the structural integrity of it at all. But it would just be nice if even on the back side it had a good, clean, finished look to it. So really, that's the only complaint I have. That's getting down to nitpicking, if you ask me. So, but really, a very great system. I like the dedicated system. And as far as things that I like, it looks great. I like the skeletonized, and the skeletonized actually has a good purpose. I'll put a picture up here so you can see, but you can actually still get to that front trigger pin, so you can knock that out of there if you want to do a drop-in trigger or do any kind of work like that. You don't have to remove your extended bolt release. You can actually just go right through it and not have an issue with it. The bolt-on type, most of those you're going to have to remove that bolt-on section just so you can get to that pin and knock it out of there. So I definitely like that. Number one is got to be the speed. It's very easy it's very intuitive, it's very easy to grasp. Train for it, and it won't take very long, and your magazine reloads are going to be a lot quicker. You're going to start really figuring it out, and they're going to just start cranking out a lot faster and faster. So definitely look into it. Again, this is the extended bolt release version 2 from Phase 5. I will leave a link down below so you guys can check it out. Now, don't just type in phase5.com. You're going to get a completely different website. It's phase5wsi.com. So be sure to check that out. Again, I'll leave a link down below so you guys can take a look at it. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. If you did, it is always appreciated when you like and share. If you are not a subscriber and you want to see more Gear Freak, find that subscribe button down below, put your crosshairs on it, pull the trigger on your mouse, and then come back next Thursday for another Gear Freak. And remember, your mind, that's your most important weapon, and it's vital to be armed with information. Until next time, take care and be safe. Charlie Bravo out.